Hello everyone, today we will continue with the frame assembly, and I forgot to put stoppers in the Z rails. I will also put those. So we are inserting M3 nuts inside of the slot. This can be a little tricky. With M3 by 8 we will secure it. Now we need two of the short frames. The frame which has not the holes we need it, but like I explained earlier, all short frames are drilled. We will use this one and insert here, and we will secure it from here. This is M3 by 12. So these are tapped, so that's why we can screw them from here. Don't over tighten this. We will also screw it, secure it from here. With M3 by 8 we will secure it. So you can use your Allen key to align your X nut. Then you can just same thing for this one. We will also place M3 by 8 in here to make the blind joint. Give a couple turn and leave it for now. Now you will use the short frame which has the holes, and it's basically the blind joint. These holes are access for your Allen key. So for this you don't need to be that much precise. However, I will use a frame. So since the surface of the frame is flat, I will use that as a reference point, and I will just tighten them. Then we will take our Z rails, tapped but not drilled frame. We will insert M3 by 10 on both ends. Then we will install M3 by 6 with the X nut, and we will put two M3 nuts, so don't forget these. And after loading the M3 hex nut, we will again put M3 by 6 with M3 hex nuts. Then we will take our Z rail, shorter parts will go down. We will again do the blind joints. So again we will have access hole, and with M3 by 6 we will tighten them together. And same thing for the second rail. Don't fully tighten it. We will find the actual position then for that. So for now just leave it snap. We will insert 3 hex nuts for the back slot of the Z rails in this slot. 3. If you will use Voron version, you need to also put additional 2 in this slot. So I will use direct fit, so I only put 3. I'm just using this screw to hold the nuts because it was going under. We need another frame which is tapped but not drilled. Again we will put M3 by 10 like we did before. We install M3 by 6 like we did before. We will do the blind joints. It's of course not square, but on the bottom we need to put M3 hex nut preload, and on the back side of the Z axis, the Z linear rails, you need to put 3 for each. If you will use Voron, 5 for each. So now yeah, I have to remove this one because we want to put, yeah. Okay, now we need to put the side ones. H extrusion. So again we need the H extrusion which has drill on the both sides. With that again we can do the blind joints. In this step I will take one glass shelf because I need flat surface. I recommend the same to you. You need to use a flat surface to make this frame square. So I will grab one while we are assembling the frames together. Like I said, we need a flat surface. So for that I'm using a glass shelf, but you can use kitchen top and etc. It should be just flat as it can be. You can also use clamps and machinist squares. I tried in the V2 but it didn't work for me, but maybe you can work with them. However, the thing is, the blind joint depends on your profiles and your surface, like I said. So what I'm trying to say, first of all, your cut on the frame should be flat. It should not be cut with the degree. And another thing is the hole, the Allen key access hole, should be middle on the frame, because this is a 15 by 15 profile. So and your hole where screw will tighten is center of this plane. And if surface is flat and this is middle of the surface and this hole also on the other frame is in the center, it will automatically set 90 degree. If you think the geometry, if this cut is not straight, assume that this is cut it with the 5 degree. So your when you tighten the screw while putting together, this will not sit since the surface will touch each other while you are tightening it. It will again place like it has 5 degree like this. So because of that, your frame will not be on square. So if this surface is flat and this is in the middle, it will automatically place on the 90-ish degree. So and while you are putting together, if you use a flat surface, you can just press this corner while you are tightening the bolts. That means that the frame will not turn around and it will be pretty straight, pretty nice square. And another thing, if this hole is not centered, since this is your wrench axis, if it is not in the middle, what I mean, since you need to access the bolt with this Allen key, it will this frame, tapped frame, will be automatically go offset with the other one like this. So it should be normal like this, with the surface be in the same level. But if your hole is not in the middle, it will be like this. It will be the same offset with the hole offset. So you need to be careful about if you are preparing the frames by yourself. However, like I advised you earlier, it's not that much money. I would also pre-cut, drilled and tapped frames if I was sourcing them with the different suppliers. So just buy them pre-made. It will be way easier. And like I said, I will just use my glass shelf as a flat surface. I just screw all 4 of them, but not tighten of them. Just took the empty space. Now what I will do, I will put my wrench and I will press these 2 frames to the glass frame, and then I will torque them a bit, but not much. Like I said, I will do the same for all 4 corners. I will check the squareness. You can do that by measuring the diagonal distance. So this is around 30.4 millimeter, and this is also 30.4 millimeter. So that means our frame is square right now. And don't over tighten these 4, because as I remember correctly, later on we will remove these 2. So and since we will place our Z motor on this preloaded M3 hex nut, these are your bottom. So be careful about this. I mean, where the cap is your top, will be your top. Now we will place these Z rails on their correct places. So for that, this is our top on the top, and yeah, there should be 58 millimeter. It should be placed on the 58 millimeter offset from here. So that means now these tapes are placed at 58. So I will use these corners as a reference. Let's double check. And there should be, like I said, 54 millimeter distance between these 2, but don't fully tighten the second one yet, because we will align with this. I tighten the left one, but I just firmly tighten the right one, like I said. Actually, now I remember, you can also print a jig for it. The jig can directly, for example, for 58 millimeter, directly refer this one to place this one. Okay, it's saying we need to place the end cap, but I will do it later. First I want to put this one on here. For that I need print parts. And the right one, you need to put the end cap first, don't forget it. We will put these on the rails now, on the carriage. Now with M2 by A. I'm not tightening them yet. And we'll do the same for the left one. Again, just start with the bottom screws, preload them, because it's not easy to access, and you have a access hole for the Allen key in the here. Then you can simply screw them. We need to preload the M3 hex nuts. We need to put one in here and one the other hand, one here and one here. We need to put 6 at the back here. We need to preload 2 hex nut on the bottom also. So you need to put 3 on the bottom, 6 on the back, and you need to put 1 here and 1 here. Then we will simply place our bed frame to carriage. We will use M3 by 8. I think it's better to lock them down because it's dropping. It's a little bit tricky. We need to also put these. I will tighten this screw. I checked my bed is square with these frames. It's just a 0.2 millimeter or something in the out of square, so that should be okay. Now I will make sure these are fully tightened. Now we will do the trimming. For that I just measure this distance again. This should be 58. Now this is my base, and now I will just unscrew the right one. So slide the bed carriage to top, and while it's in top position, use your flat surface again, tighten the screw. The top is okay. Now we will do the same for the bottom position, but I am removing the caps. But since I don't want to remove the carriage from the rail, I will also install this rail stop for this one, because this is already fixed in the positions. And we will tighten this one. Yeah. Yep. Now we can install this end cap also. By the way, this is a not stock piece. This one is mod. I can place a LED light in here, but there is also cable pad in here through the channel. Now what we need to do, we need to remove these two. So now again preload the M3 nuts. We need to preload 6 M3 nut on top, and we need to put one on the here back of the top gantry. On the bottom slot we need to put another 6. Now we will install the Y frames. First I'll put the end caps. On the Y rails there is only one side is hole, so again another line joint. We cannot use the surface of the frame to make it square because carriages are wider than the frames. That's why I will just try to make it 90 degree with my hands, but because I couldn't find another solution. I put these 4 frames, but I will suggest you start from the bottom one without the rails one. And another thing, don't preload all the hex nuts at once. For example, you need to put 6 of them at the bottom. Put this 6 and attach these 2 rails. Then after that, just before you putting the top rails with the carriage, put 6 here and put 1 here, put 1 here. Then attach these 2. And another thing is there should be 22 millimeter distance from here to here. These rails are turning, of course, so it's not, we cannot put we cannot do the squaring. So after the other rails I think it will be rigid. I'm double checking my preloaded hex nuts. Now we will put rails on the back. For that we need the hash extrusion, which is the rails on the both sides. We need to put M3 by 10 on the back. And we'll press R. the back frames also. We need to preload again the X nut, and then we will put the D extrusions. The D extrusions are just on one side it's drilled on the boat and one side it's drilled on the. We need to preload 4 in the bottom of the bottom left. We need 4, and same for the bottom right, 4. On the side we need 3, bottom right, and we need top side of the top flat, 3, and the same for the bottom right. Then we need to put the bottom panel. This part will come to the right side, so it will slide like this. Yep. We will take one frame which is tapped on the both sides, put M3 by 10 on the both sides. Again we will put M3 by 10 on this. Then we will slide our D extrusions. The part of the hole on every side should go to the bottom, because we need to access the other two, the both screws. So again on the top surface we'll try to make it square. Left side, as you can see, it's a little bit out of square, but I tried to do my best, but still it is only this side, top and bottom is a little bit out of squares it seems. But I have measured all 6 sides but diagonally, so it is difference is under 1 millimeter, so that should be okay. And after finishing the frame assembly we need to check preloaded hex nuts. So let's check together. So there should be 6 on the top, the back end, back frame, and there should be 3 on the top, left, right, both of them, and there should be 2 here where the Z mounts will be installed, and there should be 3 on the bottom left. If you see back, there should be 1 on the back of the top, and there should be 3 in here, so it can be, the nuts can be stuck on the top and bottom screw. You can easily give a push. Yeah, so there should be 3 on the both of them. If you will use both of them, there should be 5 on each. There should be 6 on the back bottom, and there should be 4 each of the bottom frame, except this, like I said, this will be 6, and on this side, and yeah, there should be 6 in here. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, our frame is ready. And one extra thing, don't forget to put chain and link on your frame, because you cannot install after frame is finished. I had to remove these 2 and remove also panel to put this one, so don't forget it, unlike me. And thank you for watching. On the next one we will do the AB drives, and see you on the next one.